Yesterday has been exactly 1 month since the fires in Maui, and what exactly have we learned so far? Absolutely nothing. And many of the residents feel the same way. They are now speaking up. They want to know more than what they're being told. They have many questions.
And we're just asking, why is our town burnt down? Why are our families' houses gone? And if you can explain that to us in a logical, reasonable way, we'll accept it. But right now, there is no explanation, right? All I see in the newspaper is two sides arguing from what I saw in Civil Rights or whatever that magazine is, Civil Beat. And then the other side was a Guardian putting out stuff. But then I'm hearing stuff on the other side. And I'm like, hey, somebody's spinning this story. People are using this for their advantage politically. Right. And it shouldn't be done.
That's right.
It shouldn't be done at all.
Now, outside the question of how these fires started, the biggest question still remains, and that is, where are all the missing children? Now, according to Hawaii Governor Josh Green on Friday, the number of missing people has dropped to only 66, and the confirmed death toll remains at 115. And it has been at 115 confirmed deaths for about a couple weeks now. But these numbers are actually a problem for several Maui community members because they're calling on the school board to speed up the search for hundreds of students who still have not enrolled since the fires. Now, while the Superintendent Keith Hayashi does not know the exact number of students who are still unaccounted for, the school board does their own calculations, and they do believe the number of unenrolled students is about 966. But there are certain community members who are saying, wait a minute, that number could be higher. It could be anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 missing students.
The idea of passing through the burn zone 2 times a day is one that makes me want to vomit. I want to remind you that we have yet to receive an accurate death count, let alone the names of those who are gone.
Nobody wants to put that distance between themselves and their child after this disaster. No one has asked if we're prepared to drive through Lahaina daily, watching the number of crosses grow on the road.
But whether it's 966 or 2,000, there is a very stark contrast between what the governor and the mass media are reporting and what the school board and the community members are reporting. Now, like I said, there have been multiple members of the community and residents speaking out. And during a public testimony, one Wallen Christian said, "You need to put yourself in the shoes of those lost children. You need to put yourself in the shoes of the parents who are not home and had no chance to go save their children." And he brings up a really good point. Where are the parents? Where are the parents of these 966 kids or 2,000 kids who are still missing? Why have none come out on TV and said, "I'm still searching for my child"? So here's what I need everyone to make sense to me. Let's say they can't confirm these people died because they were just incinerated in the fire. They're turned to ash. Nobody can confirm their deaths. So then the number of missing people should still be much higher than what remains. There only remains 66. But according to the school board, no, we have a number that is around over 900. And then on top of that, their parents are not speaking out. So now their parents are missing. So then let's say they didn't die. Their parents didn't die. They rounded up their children, their families, and they took them to another state. Well, they still have to report back to the school board. They still need to call the school and say, hey, I have my child in so-and-so. I have my child in this other state. They're not going to be coming back for school. And until they do so, they are still missing. So the fact we have a governor saying we only have 66 people that are missing, nothing about the children. And when the mayor is confronted about the question of these missing kids, it's all hush-hush. He doesn't know what to say. He remains quiet. Matter of fact, some people are even escorted out.
And also, all the names that have been announced so far have been elderly. Are there children that have been found, and is there any hesitance to announce that, because that'll obviously just be a different level of heartbreak?
I don't know. I wish
yes,
I knew
you
the
do.
answer.
How many children are missing? You know.
I wish I knew the answer to that. I would be happy to answer that.
You have no estimate as to how many children are missing?
I guess
Nothing?
we can end this right now if you guys want. Sorry.
This is one of the biggest questions that the people of Lahaina have, but you don't want to answer
always takes one or two to ruin it for everybody.
And what's scary is that you have a mass media, journalists that should be working for the public, and yet they are sweeping up Maui more and more under the rug. You barely hear about what's happening in Maui less and less in the news. You barely hear anything about these missing children outside of residents in Maui and YouTubers. And I guarantee you're going to see big news and media fact-checking these missing kids. They're going to say the missing kids is false. There are no missing kids. The governor already came out and confirmed there's only 66 people missing. There's 115 deaths. There is no way there can be 966 kids missing. They probably went off with their parents somewhere. And this is why fact-checking is so dangerous. Because when you have mass media coming together and saying, well, this is false, then anything that combats that narrative now looks like a crazy conspiracy theory. And I am waiting for the day that YouTube tells me I can't talk about these missing children anymore. I can't speak up about these children, or I will get a strike for misinformation, because that will be the day I will delete my account on YouTube. As tragic as these lands being lost, as tragic as these homes being destroyed in these fires are, lands can be fought back for, homes can be rebuilt, but these children, their lives, their innocence cannot be restored. And what's even more tragic and what we need an answer for are those missing school buses, because the day before the fires, there were 15 school buses there. And then after the fires, a day after the fires, there were school buses that were missing. There were 15 school buses missing from the school parking lot. According to the city of Maui, school was not starting that day. Matter of fact, the return back to school did not happen that week. So then why do we have 15 missing buses the day of the fires? Now, the school board says we have been actively reaching out to contact the families for the remainder of the students who have not yet enrolled in an option, knowing that some of them may have moved out of state or have paused their child's education for the time being. It continues to say, in response to the criticism, officials said staff are trying to reach families of students who haven't enrolled, including leaving voicemails to their cell phones. Hayashi said there are about 48 families they have not been able to make contact with. Now, this next sentence really confuses me. It says kids have already missed a large portion of the school year. The school semester started on August 7th, according to the Hawaii State Department of Education. Hold on, something does not add up here. Because when people were asking why were these students sent back home from the schools, we were told there was no school that day. School did not take place until a day after the wildfires. But according to the Hawaii State Department of Education, school actually started a day before the wildfires, August 7th. That was the media's exact words, that there was no school that day. School did not start until a day after. But now we're being told it started a day prior to the wildfires. So then there was school on August 8th. Now, I don't know how it works when it comes to the students not showing up prior to the semester if they have to call in or their parents have to call in and say they're not going to enroll. But apparently, school started on August 7th, according to the Hawaii Department of Education. So that means these students who were missing were in school on August 7th and possibly August 8th. Meaning if they did go missing, it is now the duty of the school to report them as missing. Why is there so much back and forth information when it comes to these missing kids in Maui? I no longer want the officials and the media to tell us there are 66 missing people in Maui. I want to hear we don't know the exact number of people missing. All we know is there are many people still missing, including perhaps over 1,000 kids and their families. Because until we hear from these people, until we hear from these children that they're found safe and sound, these children, their families are still missing.
A lot of talk. They could have given us warning. They sent all the kids home from school because of the wind advisory. And we found out yesterday that we lost a whole neighborhood of children.
Yes, horrific. The Lahaina Luna housing area, all the kids were home.